which is where I first met Christine before she came here. I was at church in North Carolina, she was in South Carolina, and she was called in to help a troubled church. So I saw her in action. And when I had moved to Pennsylvania at the time, but heard that she was coming to Albuquerque, I thought, oh, those guys are lucky. I moved back to Albuquerque and was president and on the board 2012 to 2014. And we dealt with a lot of growth issues, and in the end, with the transition of ministry that we're now undergoing. Our membership had continued to grow into the high 700s. And when Ron left and we needed to bring on another second minister, Christine suggested that we start to come to terms with the fact that she would be retiring in the next decade or so, and some longer-term leadership transition thinking would be wise. She told us that we had become known in the ministry as a teaching congregation, actually largely due to Christine's mentoring, as you've heard these last few Sundays. So we wondered if we might advertise our second ministry as a position as a residency in large church ministry, promising to let our candidate work in all aspects of ministry according to their learning needs, with the goal that after about 8 years of experience, they would be ready to be a senior minister either here or somewhere else. We had a great set of applicants, and we chose Angela. It was a busy time, building a building and moving into it. It was easier to raise money the second time, but we still found it to be hard work. Don't you remember that miracle Sunday on April 1st? And we had done another glass ceiling thing and had to ramp up our operations. New bylaws, a complete policy rewrite, shift to an expanded governance model, grow our music program, more staff, lots more staff. Christine, was there anything that you found fun in these 8 years? Or are you just giving up in exhaustion?
Well, mentoring Angela was fun and very satisfying, and we did have great interns those years, and that was very fun and interesting. And also, suddenly, it just seemed obvious to everybody that the senior minister should be head of the staff, and that was a quietly satisfying triumph for me. Finally, the ghosts of the past were buried. I can't say that writing bylaws or policies was fun, but it is great to have done it. By that time, so much of how we do things around here was in my head, where A, it wasn't available to anybody else, and even more problematic, couldn't be changed. All the credit, by the way, to all that writing goes to Jerry Noble, who kept us organized. So now it's all down on paper, or actually it's all on the website. It has had at least 2 passes through congregational committees, and now it is yours to change as you like, and I hope you do, because then it will be really yours. I was very glad to hand over financial management to Paul Brown when he got here, and to quit worrying about building management when Mark Fickler was hired to help him. And I have to admit that I was skeptical at first of the need for a full-time music director, but having promised Angela that she could take the lead on the things that mattered to her, she got Susan here, and I am totally sold. So was it fun those last few years? Not as much fun quite as the heady time that Dave and Mary talked about, but it was always interesting and always deeply satisfying. So thank you, Pat, and thank you all who were leaders during these last 7 or 8 years.
So Christine, do you have any advice for your successor?
Oh gosh. You know, you came here at about the same age that I came here. And you were right out of school, where I'd had some experience in ministry. But I remember thinking over and over during those first few years, damn, she is so much smarter than I was at her age. And it's probably still true. So I know you'll be fine. but who can resist giving advice? Let's see. You've been here 8 years already, so you're way into a mid-length ministry, and I know you want a long ministry here. So here's what I learned about long ministries. They are wonderful and they are productive as long as the congregation and the minister continue to grow. Not necessarily in size, but in depth, in diversity, in service. It's not easy to quantify congregational growth like that, and it's even harder to put your finger on personal and ministerial growth like that. But you do have to give it time. Time alone, time reading, time with colleagues and advisors, time in meditation and prayer. And that's what kept me going, and I commend that to you.
Sounds like kind words and sage advice.
Thanks. I went into ministry in the first place out of a sense that I'd spent the Vietnam War practicing my oboe. And I wanted to be of greater service to the world than a musician of my modest talent could be. And then I spent the major part of my career in a congregation that had so many internal challenges of health and growth that didn't play out quite as I had imagined it would. I needed to keep my focus here on this congregation. And I always understood that that was a ministry to the world, that a vibrant and healthy congregation can be of service to its neighbors and an important civic influence in really important ways, and that building the congregation's internal strength to do that is important. But under your leadership, Angela, and with your passions, I can see that the congregation is about to take some major steps in the direction of being a civic force for justice and equity and compassion, and I'm so glad. Altogether, I feel like this ministry was almost fated, graced, guided. I didn't intend to come here. I didn't mean to stay long. It turned out that this congregation, though, had more hidden strengths than it had such obvious issues. And then, when I thought I ought to leave, I couldn't. And then it was all wonderfully productive. When I needed help, it was there, from the UUA, from a coach, from colleagues, from you. When it seemed time to start thinking about how to end it, I was ready, and so were you, and the right successor was here. It's hard to imagine a minister experiencing a better career. Even the newest of you, even the most inactive of you, have been a part of this, and I thank you. And those of you who have been leaders and followers and resistors and helpers and supporters and guides, I thank you too. In a few weeks, after some good celebrating, we will all of us hunker down to the work of change, and that's what this last song is all about.
We're going to invite you to rise in body or spirit to join us in singing this amazing anthem by Holly Near. The verses, please join in on the choruses. If you know the verses, jump in on those too. I'm going to be in the right key.
Sing the chorus with us.
I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family. There is sorrow in my town. There is panic in the nation. There's a wailing the whole world round. I am open and I am willing,
We build on foundations we did not lay, and sit in the shade of trees we did not plant, and drink from wells we did not dig. And in our turn, we build, we plant, we dig for those who come after us. May all your digging and building and planting be in joy. Go in peace.